Hello and welcome. Welcome. I'm so happy to introduce to you Claire Crook. Welcome, Claire.
Hello, Maria. How are you?
I'm so happy and excited to have you. I really am.
Oh, I'm really delighted to be here today. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's my pleasure, Claire, and I would really love to know, as would so many of our viewers, tell us what you do and how you came to be doing what you do.
Well, I am now a therapist. I work across the world online and face-to-face, both in the UK and during the winter months when I spend the winter in the French Alps in Chamonix. And I've just been so delighted to share my passion for helping others, because I've had my own journey, as we all have. And I'm really, really delighted today to share with you some of my experiences and what I've done also to help others, particularly with mental health issues, depression, anxiety. I know a lot of people are suffering out there at the moment. And just to celebrate some of the work that we've been doing with my non-profit organisation, Depression Friends. We have a great following now in the UK mainly because it's in English, but we have 12,500 followers on Facebook, which is becoming more and more prevalent and celebrated, because people need that support. They need to feel, our motto is, you are never alone. You are never alone in your suffering. And for me, I had periods of depression from about the age of 35. And for me, I was very grateful and blessed to have my husband with me 24/7. Maria, we've already had lockdowns, him and I. We've had 3, 4, 6 months of just being in my space, overcoming this illness, this invisible illness that people are still very scared to talk about. But for me, I feel so grateful that I'm still here, I'm still breathing, and that actually I was lucky enough and fortunate enough in my life to have somebody who gave up his job to sit with me 24/7 for, up to 6 months at some of the worst times. And I know so many people don't have that. And when I realized that, how on earth would I have possibly survived if I hadn't have had somebody with me? People do live in their own world, isolated. Some people love it, some people find it a real struggle. And I thought, well, there's no way I could have got through this without anybody with me. So I need to reach out now. I need to reach out to those that feel alone, feel isolated. And I started on Facebook as a, one-man band, really, just to say to people that, there is no stigma, because we've all either had experience of this, or we know somebody. Is it 1 in 3 now? They say 1 in 3 have suffered a mental illness sometime in their lives, and probably 1 in 2 have had some experience of a loved one close to them. It's that common now. So depression and anxiety is something that I've overcome, and again, I wanted to share that with the world, to say you are never alone. You are never alone. So to have posts that are always positive, I always try and project that to others, because that is the only way that we will overcome this. And particularly at this time, during lockdown, in isolation, there are going to be many, many people that come out of this struggling, having to face the world again for the first time in nearly 2 months. And you know, we're there for them, and to go and, you know, to go onto the page and look at the positive posts. Some of them will give you a laugh, some of them will touch your heart in the right place, I hope. But to say that we know what it's like, because we've all been there, and I know that's really sometimes hard to imagine when you are on your own, in your own head, worrying, overthinking, ruminating. It's always a very difficult one. But the more we talk, the more we come together, the more we share, it's going to, you know, give us that sense of belonging and connection with others, because that is so key. So that's a little bit about what we're going to talk about today.
That's really moving. I have had depression myself, and I really appreciate just being honest about something that is, I think, just a human. Every now and again, that dark cloud comes across. In fact, Winston Churchill used to call his the black dog. And there's a really good book about that, which I have. I just wanted to illustrate what you've just said with the line of a song, and I'm sure you know this one. You'll never walk alone.
Absolutely. And yes, it's an anthem for many people, particularly men, actually. And for men, it is very, very hard to express their feelings. And sadly, during this time, suicide rates have increased significantly, which is heartbreaking, let alone the virus and all that's going on there. But for many, it's been a very sad time, with grieving, but also with low mood. And for men, it just is part of their makeup that they find it so difficult to connect and express themselves. So again, reaching out to men. I love working with men. I love working with children, but it doesn't surprise you, I don't suppose, that most of my clients are women, because they really feel that talking to another lady is it really helps them. And the work that I do now is a specialist field of hypnotherapy called rapid transformational therapy. You may have heard of it. It was created by my mentor, my master therapist, my friend Marissa Peer, who now teaches this technique all over the world. She taught me, and we are now a family of RTT therapists, but please look that up, rapid transformational therapy. And yes, it is hypnotherapy based, but also it's so much more than that, because we get the absolute root cause of people's issues very, very quickly. And it is life-changing, mind-blowing, and it can be done in such a short space of time. So when I treat clients for things like fears, phobias, smoking, that honestly can be done in a 2-hour intensive session, as long as you are absolutely motivated to change, to transform, and to listen to the bespoke recording that I give you every day for 21 days. And that is paramount. It's absolutely the number one important thing in order to transform, because it takes 3 weeks for any old habit of yours to change, for any of us, for any habit. So you have to be motivated enough to listen to that recording every day for 3 weeks. And as I say, things like smoking, fears, phobias can be done very, very swiftly. Again, we get to the absolute root cause of your issues in the session, and it will just lift you. This is what's so incredible about seeing my clients at the end of the session. They don't only look 20 years younger, but their eyes are bright, their shoulders are relaxed, they are lifted out of their misery in many cases, their trauma, their issues that have been holding them back pretty much all their adult lives. And it is going to be something that's going to come up. It is what happened in your early life, and that's okay, because it needs to come out, it needs to happen, because that is what's going to lift you, because we come to a resolution, a reconciliation with whoever hurt you in the past. Any little thing that was said to you when you were young, it could have been a teacher, it could have been a parent, a member of your close family, a sibling, really anybody could have said something to you without even thinking, and that has stayed in your mind for the rest of your life. So that's something that we will address, and we will come to a conclusion with, as I say, a peace and reconciliation, and you have that dialogue with the person that's hurt you in the session, if that is the sort of session where it takes you. Not always, but often. Work that I do, because it is my specialism, work that I do with anxiety and depression will often take 2 or 3 sessions, but 3 at the very most. I can probably count on one hand, and I've been doing this for a fair few years now, but I can count on one hand how many clients I needed to see for 3 sessions. The rest have been 1 or 2. So it's not a question of seeing a psychotherapist for 10 years. People come to me and say, I've learned more in the 2 years that I've sat with you than I have for the last 10 years with a talking therapist, because what happens with that is that they just entrench themselves with the story that goes around with their issue, and it becomes ingrained in their subconscious mind, and we need to move away from that. And this is what is so incredible about, I have to say her name again, Marissa Peer's work, because we, you know, the work that we do now, we support one another. All the RTT therapists are there for each other, and we are a force to be reckoned with, because we are changing lives every single day. It's phenomenal. Yeah, so really good.
Oh, that's so exciting. I just got goosebumps when you said that, because I've had RTT therapy already actually myself, so I know exactly what you're talking about. And if I just want to validate and guarantee everything that you've said.
Yes, please.
I have had a lifelong issue. I've had problems with my weight and food all my life, and I had RTT, and I swear to God, it feels like the biggest weight, lead heavy weight, was taken off my shoulders and my body. I'm listening to it every day, and it's the most powerful thing I've ever done about it. I wished I'd done it when I was 8 years. Well, I wish I'd done it in my teens, at least.
Yes.
And I really want to validate and acknowledge that, yes, while I'm not my story certainly has a very sacred part to play in who I am today. So I really love the way that Marissa Peer and yourself and the RTT community, and I think you're all superstar. I really think it's a very dignified, very heart-centered community. The way that is honoured, the soul's journey is really honoured, as opposed to other schools of thought which somehow depreciate the story that I have walked through. So I just want to really validate that, yes, it's possible to release in the loving hands of somebody like you. I mean, you are just exuding care, kindness, compassion, love, to hold that space to release something really for once and for all. And I do guarantee it takes 1 or 2 or 3 sessions. That is absolutely true. I cannot praise this more enough, and I'm so glad that you mentioned that.
Oh, thank you, Maria. Because don't forget that we're all working on ourselves at the same time. And something that I want to stress is that when we can all get to the point where we feel completely at one with ourselves, in self-belief and self-empowerment, then nothing else in the world can affect us. So we become bulletproof to rejection. We become really solidly confident and comfortable in our own skin, so that we can just take ourselves forward in our life, in our journey. And it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks, whether it's your partner, your children, your work colleagues. Nothing can touch you. And if we can get to that point in our lives early on, the earlier the better, but that's something, again, confidence and self-esteem. Once we get to that point, and again, RTT helps with that massively, that we absolutely become bulletproof to anything that's outside of us, and we can know our truth, believe in our truth, and take ourselves forward to help others. And we want to do that, all of us, don't we, in so many ways. And we need that more than ever now. And I think the world is rebalancing. I really honestly think that we are at the point where we're realizing what's so important in life. What are the only important things in life? Our health. If we don't have that, we have nothing. I've learned that the hard way. And our loved ones and the people around us. And I hope that connection becomes part of our way of life again very soon, because I think we're all missing that terribly. So that's really, really important. But I think if we can all become connected again, the world will be so much of a better place. And the emphasis is on wellness and well-being rather than material things to do with what we have, what we don't have. None of it's important, because at the end of the day, we leave this life with nothing, just as we came to this life with nothing. And that is, so important.
That's such a beautiful point about connection and about bulletproof, because it doesn't matter how many times somebody says, "You're amazing, you're gorgeous, you're so clever, da 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 da," but unless the individual has made that self-connection and really gone into the depth of themselves to become bulletproof, no amount of praise externally or validation will touch the side. So I love that you've said that. I just think that's a real highlight. That's a real headline here. Bulletproof to rejection. I mean, I think that's awesome. I can relate to suffering from rejection issues all my life, and now I am bulletproof to rejection because I've done this. And I just want, I really highlight that. That's the biggest gift to give to somebody, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Themselves.
Isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. Because, as I say, we can then live our true lives, our truth, and be ourselves. And so much of the issues that people face, that come to me with particularly, is when you're not living your truth. You feel that you're different. You feel that you don't fit in. And actually, that doesn't matter at all if you are comfortable in yourself. And just like you say, Maria, it doesn't matter if you are showered with praise every single day. it will just wash off you. It's water off a duck's back completely if you don't believe it yourself. So self-praise, this is what I do every single day now. I think about gratefulness every morning. I wake up, I'm still breathing, I'm still here, I've been given the gift of life, I'm still breathing. Think of just three things every single morning when you wake up, all the things you feel grateful for. Then during the day, and I spent 45 years not ever doing this, but thinking about self-praise. Well done, Claire, you did a great job there, fabulous. You don't have to overexert it, but and exaggerate it if it's not you, but just giving yourself a break, giving yourself a pat on the back and just saying you did a great job there. And just sitting with you today, Maria, it's a challenge, and it's something I've never done before. I've never spoken to somebody like this, but we're doing okay, aren't we?
I really think you're nailing it. You should have seen the outtakes. It was really funny at the beginning of this. I fluffed 3 times. So Claire is the professional here. I just really, really want to compliment you. I think absolutely anybody who has the courage to come and do an interview, it's huge courage, because most people would want to do, it's a statistic, okay? I've been presenting and doing this for 15 years. So for me, it's not no big deal, but most people would rather do anything but public speak or present, or actually it's countercultural here in Britain to speak about oneself and indeed to praise oneself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's why an interview format is something that's a little bit more natural. But I think you're doing amazing, and I really love the point about self-praise. That's something that I do as well, and it's really, really so powerful. I really second that. I just encourage people to just wow, I did my hair really nice today. It can be anything, like anything at all, but it's just positive credit for the emotional bank account.
Yeah, and it's for the tiny things as well. It's for the small steps. It doesn't have to be something incredible, but it's the I got up this morning. For somebody who's been suffering for months, getting up and jumping in the shower, that can be fabulous, a huge step for them. And just taking every moment as a gift and just praising yourself, as I say, for the tiny little steps each and every day. And just one thing I really, really want to emphasize, my journey started with Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. Eckhart, who I saw recently at the Royal Albert Hall, he set me off on a journey five years ago with his book, The Power of Now. And he, in his early 30s, he writes about he was at that point of severe depression. He'd suffered for all his adult life, and he was at that point of where I've got a choice here. I can't live with myself any longer. I can't live with myself any longer. And he separated himself with this person that he can't live with, and it just blew him away. And to read, it's a heavy read, I have to say, but if you could listen to it on Audible, that would be fabulous. But if anybody's struggling out there at the moment, just read the first few pages of The Power of Now from the very beginning, because that's been the most succinct few paragraphs that I've ever read about depression, and knowing that the darkness is there, middle of the night, it's very fearful, and there is so much suffering, and really what I wanted to emphasize today is the importance of staying present in this moment. And I have something on my wrist all day, every day. It changes. It's just a few cords, bits of ribbon, anything at all that brings you back, Maria, to the present moment. It brings you back each and every moment of every day to now. Because if you stay in the now, any future events you don't think about. So there's the fear and anxiety of what's to come doesn't touch you. And any regrets about the past, that's gone. That's history, because you are present. The positive is in this moment, because this moment is the only moment we ever have to live. So this in the now, it takes a bit of it takes a shift of thinking for many, and it did for me, because I lived most of my life in the future. For many years, I was, nothing was ever good enough in the now. It was always what's coming next, the next promotion, the next job, the next this, that, and the other, which none of it was, looking back, none of it was important. But living in the now, any negative thoughts, feelings, emotions just fall away completely. And that has been my one savior, I guess. Yeah, just living in the now, but having a reminder. So you could even write now on your hands. You could even do that for a little while, just to get yourself into that zone of living in the present. But that for me has been completely and utterly transformative. And I didn't even think about this today until this morning when I was putting my lipstick on. It just didn't enter my head. And that's good, because I would have had a whole week of rumination and overthinking before about this, and it just doesn't affect me. So things coming up just do not affect me in the same way. It would have been fear, it would have been anxiety, it would have been, oh my God, and I would have been reliving this over and over again, to the point where I was struggling with even sitting with you. And it's living in the moment that has just allowed that moment to be as it is, because it's always going to be good enough. We are good enough just as we are. We are, this is Marissa's mantra as well, I am enough. I am enough just as I am. I am worthy of being here. I am lovable. I am good enough just as I am. We don't have to jump through hoops, do we? We don't have to do anything special in this world, just being here in this moment with our truth. That's all there is, really.
That's really taken my breath away. That's so true. And ultimately, you have this amazing, great big shaggy dog story called life. And then the ultimate holy grail, top of the mountain destination is right here with me.
Absolutely.
And I look back and I go, what, you mean all that crazy, fighting with it? Or it's all part of it. But
yeah, that knapsack of 30 years of rubbish that you're dragging along with you can only get heavier and heavier if you don't let it go. And that they're the three words, most important three words in the work that we do, is let it go.
And I'm glad you've mentioned that, because it's a very throwaway statement. Oh, honey, you just need to let it go. Now there's letting go, and then there's really letting go. I can personally, just trying to let something go myself hasn't worked. But when I did RTT, or in the hands of somebody such as yourself that really knows what they're doing, then that deep letting go, or even a sense of, I have given so much respect, acknowledgement and dignity to that issue that it lets go of me.
That's
and
right.
held by loving arms and kindness. That letting go process can happen. I really want to underline that I've been trying to let go all my life. I've only been able to really truly move away and move through these big ones with very kind, compassionate facilitators such as yourself. That would be my experience. So this is really important work.
And to have
You've been
that,
through it yourself. Sorry to
yes,
interrupt you. You've been through it yourself. So it's just got to be a heart connection. It's got to be somebody that you really resonate with. It's not like the expert who's perfect, who's up on that pedestal, and you shadow person with all these issues. No, we're all in the same boat. We're all doing this journey in different amazing ways, and this sort of support is really, for me, the most invaluable, the most valuable one.
And just like we are now, you know, I can feel the connection so strongly with you today, Maria, that, you know, the online work that we do, am I right in saying that your RTT session was online through Zoom? This is what we do now with our clients all over the world. For example, my last client was in Angola, would you believe, in the middle of Africa, and she really was blown away by how powerful the work that we do was for her, you know, just through Zoom. And thank goodness she had a great connection, because in Africa the broadband is not fabulous. But we had a little trial, had a little go beforehand, and it worked beautifully. So even in these, you know, Johannesburg's another place that I've worked with clients, and you just think, well, you know, it'll be great even if they have internet, let alone a good enough connection, bless them. But they were determined, and it really is such powerful work online as well as face to face. So yes, it's wonderful to be sat with somebody, there's no doubt about it, but equally it is just as effective online. And I never believed that myself until I started to work with clients over the internet, and it's blown. I've got to pinch myself every time. It blows me away, because you know, talking to somebody in Melbourne and or California, and you're up in the middle of the night, and they're you know, it's sunny at their end, and you're working with them in a fantastic way. And so don't think just because you're not on the south coast, because I'm based down here in Portsmouth Harbour, but don't think that you've got to be nearby. You can be anywhere, and just working on Zoom is such a solid platform now, that like we are now today on Zoom, Maria, it works beautifully, and as I say, just as effectively. And we felt, you know, we're both getting goosebumps at different times today, and that's how it is for the client as well. Absolutely. And they love it, because, as I say, so much is lifted off them just in that session. As I say, all I would ask is that you want that change for yourself, and you are highly motivated to transform, for you and not for anybody else. That is absolutely key. And as I say, with any issue whatsoever, as I say, we're all on that journey, and it's so satisfying. I love what I do, and I feel so blessed that I can do this now. Yeah.
I love your joy and love is coming to me and landing as goosebumps. I really feel that. I really appreciate what you've just said. I just want to draw this out. This is really important, because there is such thing as free will. So the individual needs to really want to do what it is that they want to do. So for example, if someone says to me, for goodness sake, please give up smoking, it makes me sick, I hate your faggash little breath, la li la, and I go to see somebody like you, say, I need to give up smoking, miss, because my husband's telling me off. So what would happen then?
I'm actually very, what's the word, strict, I suppose, about who I see with things like smoking, because I say to clients, I only work with success. I only want to see you. I don't want to waste your time, your energy, your effort, your money, unless you are motivated for yourself. And it doesn't matter who else thinks that you should stop. It has to be for you. And I actually turn down more people than I do take on board, Maria, with stopping smoking, because again, it's something that I love to do, because I feel that people are taking their lives back and giving them a new lease of life when they choose to quit smoking. And as I say, I want it to be successful, and it has to be something that they want themselves. And again, I've only ever worked with clients in one session for smoking. I've never had to do more than one, which is fabulous. Yeah. And as I say, I would ask them, just to give you an idea, I would ask on a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated are you to give up? And depending on your honest truth of how motivated you really are to give up, it's the same with weight. It has to come from you, and we can work with that 100%, and it will set you free, for sure. Absolutely set you free from all this. And my practice is called Set Yourself Free, and you can Google me. I'm on Facebook, but just drop Set Yourself Free Therapist or Set Yourself Free Therapy on Google, and my page will come up. But please have a look at RTT, have a look at Marissa Peer's work and rapid transformational therapy, because you'll see all the reviews, all the testimonials that everybody has written. The clients that have gone away transformed, it really does change their lives. So they are, so happy to have invested that time and effort in the change, because it's got to come from you. It has to come from you. I'm just a facilitator, and I love what I do, but really it's down to yourself and whether you want it, and it's yourself that sets you free.
Wow. That's really empowering. It's only the individual that can do that. And I just get a really lovely image in the Set Yourself Free of the person in their fullness, without the shackles, just sailing away on a lovely sailboat into a beautiful pea green sea, into the sunset, nice and free, and really into their real life.
Yes, and funny you should say about sailing, because myself and my husband have done some lovely days out in the Solent with our Depression Friends community, local people to us on the south coast that have never sailed in their lives, never been on a boat before, that suffer from anxiety and depression. And you'd be amazed how fabulous the day has been for them, across the Isle of Wight, go for lunch, come back. So it's been amazing to be able to offer that to people with donations. We get people on board that pay the full rate, and then they support the ones that are often not working because they are struggling. They've been off work for years in some cases. So they come along with others from the local community, and it's my husband's job is to be a professional skipper, so he can then take them on board and I crew for them. So yes, it's been a lovely thing to do the last few years. I'm not sure whether we'll even get out on a boat this year at all because of the lockdown, but I think towards the end of the summer there may be an opportunity to do that again with people. But drop me a line if you're interested in that, because it's a lovely thing to do if you've never been sailing before. It's and for some people, Maria, they've actually said this is one of the best days of my life, and to have that said to you at the end of a day where you've coax them onto a boat, because you imagine the anxiety of thinking, of the fear of the unknown again, back to that, thinking too far ahead, setting up in their minds, what's the weather going to be like, is it going to be choppy, blah de blah. But we've never had anybody step off and say that they've not had a great time. So it's a blessing if the sun is shining like it is today. It is a wonderful day out, and we all support one another on the boat, so it's a fabulous thing to do. Yeah, so just let us know if you'd like to get involved in that as well. And yeah, it's a great day. And shout out to Four Seasons Yacht Charter as well, because they always provide their boats to us at a phenomenally good rate, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to afford to do it. So shout out to them as well, Mark and Ella at Four Seasons Yacht Charter. So thank you.
That's so lovely. I'm actually really scared of water and boats and all that, but actually I just thought I would love to do that. Have you ever seen any dolphins or any amazing sea creatures?
Yeah, there are dolphins. Very rarely, but you do get them in the Solent. There's one that even came up into the harbour. I think it was last year or the year before, and we were a little bit nervous because he was getting a little bit close to those huge ferries that come out of the channel to France. So yeah, but they love to bow jump, and they ride the waves that and the wake that the ferries create. So yeah, there's so much to see out there, and just seeing the coastline from the water, and seeing the Isle of Wight and Osborne Bay and Osborne House up there, and Cowes, obviously, which is sort of the home of sailing. It's for some people who've lived on the south coast all their lives, to actually see it from a different perspective is lovely for them. Really, really special. So we try and go just during the summer months when we can almost guarantee nice weather. Yes, yeah, almost. But yeah, it's not every time, but 9 times out of 10, we're blessed with sunshine and nice calm seas. And obviously remember that we are sheltered in the Solent, so we do get much flatter seas and calmer sailing than you would out beyond the Solent. So because we're protected by the Isle of Wight, so that's wonderful. Yes, to have that break, if you like, breakwater of the Isle of Wight. So yeah, it's great to do. Yeah, wonderful. So there's so much out there to share with others, and it's a wonderful thing to give others an experience that perhaps, as say, they may have looked at the water all their lives from the land, and to get them on a boat, it's fabulous. So maybe we will get you on there at some point.
Wow, I would love that. But the thing I most would love right now is to just give you a massive squeezy hug. You have been so delicious to interview. That sounds horrible, like food, but you've just been a total joy. And I think you are the sunshine that helps people to just shine a brighter light on the outlook, and really truly make that transformation, support that transformation that is self-led by the person. I think you are glorious like the sun, and I have just loved listening and hearing this. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Maria. Thank you for listening, everyone, because, you know, just enjoy this moment, whatever it brings. This is the moment that we have to live in, and we need to cherish it more and more, I think. So, yeah, thank you for your time today. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.